Like, all right, I'm gonna pull this thing up real quick. All right, Kevin, take it away.
Well, welcome everyone tonight to the November 28th, 2023 Board of Commission meeting. First on the agenda is the approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion
Motion.
to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Passes.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get right into it. First thing tonight is we have one grant application for the Wisconsin Track Coaches Association annual meeting. This is the 35th annual. And I think I read they've been coming to.
They've been here, I think, 12 years now.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Nice number of room block.
It's a nice number of room blocks. They're here for several days, so they have a chance. They have a big banquet at the Marriott, but they do go out as well. Not all of them stay the entire time either. But yeah, they do have quite a few rooms. And they are an incredibly polite group, which goes a long way in my book. They're very easy to work with. And Mike has been fantastic. And he submits a post-event report every year for us. And last year, I believe he told me that the Wisconsin State Track Coaches Association convention was the largest, as in the most attended, I think, in the country. Does that sound right, Jim? I think Ohio only had like a couple fewer than us, but I think Wisconsin had like a record last year.
Really impressed.
And the conference or convention itself is at Marriott.
Yes.
Okay.
And they have a vendor show and a banquet, and they have speakers. And then this year they're doing Women for Women Hall of Fame dinner, the Pole Vault Coaches Symposium, annual fundraising raffle, which we usually donate something to, and then a continental breakfast. And then they just have sessions, like a lot of conferences, sessions all day. His grant request was, he said, you guys would be the official sponsor, I think, of the dinner or something like that. But if you go through here it is, the budget for travel, supplies, speaker fees alone, the $5,000, because we don't allow it to go toward hospitality for catering. But absolutely, I mean, they spend enough in speaker fees and travel and awards and those kinds of things would more than cover the $5,000.
It seems like a no-brainer to me, but
My wife goes every year. Also,
They're very well
Yeah,
organized.
presents most years.
Laura,
Always eats lunch and dinner in the area. So
yeah, Laura has
other
sat at a
coaches.
table several times. I've sat at a table a couple of times. They actually stop and ask us, like, what's a good place for dinner? Laura makes a one-sheeter, so.
Jim, do you know how many years they have in the contract with the hotel?
Right
I
now
want to
there's-
say it's 12, but I think it's on here. Jim,
Yeah,
do you know?
they've been coming to the Marriott. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they've been coming to the hotel. I believe this is their 6th year with us, maybe 7th. We've got them signed currently out through 2025, I believe.
Awesome.
Any other questions? Well, then
No.
I'll take a
I make a
motion.
motion to grant the $5,000, is it?
Yep.
Second.
Kate Miller will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Perfect.
Passes.
Yes, we're done with that one. Okay, so let me scooch it up. And Kate has a hard out at 5, so you just step out when you need to.
Okay.
Next up are hotel updates. Whoever wants to go first.
Go for it, Todd.
Well, I mean, October was our second best month, I guess, for our 3 hotels. August being the best month, but definitely the home football weekends made a big difference this year. So, I mean, October was pretty good. November has not been great December doesn't look terribly great year over year, but well, two of my three hotels anyway are better in November year over year. Mainly in rate, not so much in occupancy, but
Thank you for that.
Yeah, we
Just
had
the
the same.
volume.
October was the best October since October of 18. So
Yeah.
that's great. November is shaping up pretty well. You know, we've got the group, you know, that kind of helps us along there. So November is looking pretty good. December is going to be pretty typical. We're looking at probably pretty much on par to last year for December.
Okay.
How will the changes in the NCAA football, like with getting more of the, we're not the Big Ten, we'll keep adding. They don't add more games, or will they add more games? So it's the same amount of games. It's just we're just traveling. Okay.
Traveling further,
Yep.
Yeah.
more teams to play, but same number of games.
Yep. Yeah.
But I think those West Coast teams will travel well. I don't think it'll be an issue. Like Oregon, USC, they
Yeah.
travel.
I agree.
As good as Badger fans.
I know this fall, I think one of the changes I've noticed, and I don't know, I guess if this is the greater market situation, but our extended stay is down. Transient and group seems to be up a little bit, but the extended stay is softer year over year. Now, granted, I only got 1 year of comparison to go
Interesting.
off of, but the extended stay market has gotten very aggressive on rate, which is not good
Yeah.
to see.
Do you think that's a Airbnb thing? Like people are staying there, or they're just not traveling for extended period of times where they would have an extended stay?
I guess I'm not sure what the Airbnb impact is in this market, but you know, and I think last year was a little bit different. It was finally everything kind of opened up from the pandemic, and so there was some of the project business and stuff like that. I mean, Epic is still not requiring in-person training, and based on the conversations we've had with them, they're not willing to commit to the fact that they'll ever go back to mandatory in-person training. And so I don't know, with their development, hopefully we'll start to see some more extended stay type business coming in if they're recruiting new people in and stuff like that. But right now it's not there to the degree it was in the past anyway.
Yeah, we're seeing the same thing. We've dug into it from every direction, and it's just really hard to, they've got some decent products in Verona now, so close to the campus, and that's where the lion's share are going, the Hyatt place there. So I was talking with Karen Warner is her name. She's actually was their GM in Verona. She's now our controller at our hotel. She just started last week. And they were the majority of their occupancy throughout the year is Epic trainees still. So when they come into town, they stay close. Why wouldn't they?
Right.
Yep.
I will say, as someone who travels and is looking at Airbnbs, they are not less expensive than
No, they're not.
hotels. And you have to
Right.
even before you leave, which I hate. I don't mind like tying up trash, but I'm not like stripping the bed and putting it in the washing machine. No, when I
Right.
spend $200 on a
Well, they're
cleaning
still
fee.
gonna, they're
Yeah.
gonna charge you for the cleaning fee, yeah.
Because I just traveled over the holidays too. I actually got some pretty decent rates, even though I took my kitty, and they always charge you a ton for that, right? Have you had to stay?
Oh, she has a buggy, and they think it's a bed.
We don't tell anyone.
I begged for forgiveness. I don't
We'll
ask
have
for-
to figure out how to like. Nobody heard a thing.
Oh
Okay.
no.
I'll move on to the director's reports if you guys are ready.
That's at our customers at the brewery that hide the bottles of wine under the kitties and the buggies.
Oh, no way.
Ah.
In the
all
beer
the time.
garden or?
They come into the beer garden, they have
Okay.
wine hidden under their babies.
Oh my gosh.
in the buggy, they have their buggy, and we have to like look and kind of,
Oh my
they
God.
have waddles of line under their kids.
Oh gosh. You do what you gotta do, I guess. All right, I had to create this for a homework assignment for being a department head. So I thought I'd share it with y'all. This is actually sort of an updated, prettier version of what's in your commission packets. And this is a year by year, quarter by quarter comparison in our revenue breakdown from 2019 to current. So you guys can see, like, right now we are sorry for all of the blues, we're the medium blue in 2023. We broke a record, an all-time record in Q3. Now, does that mean like we don't have room to grow? Of course we do, because this record is in comparison to years when we had 2 fewer hotels as well. So we still have work to do on bringing more groups here. Laura just got back from Trex in Louisiana, and we're planning on doing at least 4 trade shows next year as well. We're definitely signing up for Circle Wisconsin again. We're actually I think we're a gold level sponsor for that, so that we can be at every table. So we won't be, sitting back and taking it easy, but it is good to know we are definitely going in the right direction every single quarter. So I just thought I'd share that with you.
Nice.
A lot of that
That's
is
good visual.
rate increase too, though, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
ADR is up. ADR is up. In fact, my next report I've got the star report for you. So October star report just came in like right before I left, so it was perfect timing. So occupancy for October 2023 citywide was 75.5%. That's a 9.1% increase from October of 22. Occupancy rates are currently 0.7% higher right now than they were at this point last year. So as you can tell, like, our ADR is doing really well, but our occupancy we can still grow that. ADR was 11, but also remember, this is in comparison to 2022, where in June we had 2-3 weeks of hockey, that one time international event.
Yeah.
So really, I should try to figure out what this is in comparison to, like,
Normal.
2019 would be our last normal year. I'm using 22 as our bench year. So ADR was 11% higher this October than October of 22, and ADR is 9.5% higher overall for the year as of right now from last year at this point. And revenue was 21.1% higher this October than last October, and overall it's 12.2% higher at this point of this year from last year. So revenue is definitely getting back up to where it's supposed to be, and we have some work to do on occupancy. Just because, we're hoping actually that we're going to have a grant request in January from Madison Area Sports Commission for a possible like hockey championship, which would be multiple days and a lot of rooms.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that will come into play. And I know that you guys have been reading all the same RFPs that we have too. So just let me know if there's anything you need from us to help reel in some of that business as well. If there's a situation where you have a quick turnaround and you need to know whether or not a grant can go through, we can call an emergency Zoom meeting and vote on like a preliminary. Like, if they do book this for X number, we will pre-approve a grant, that kind of thing. With the powers of Zoom, we can do a lot now. Let's see here. Let me find my next thing here. And then, so third quarter 23, as I said, it's the highest revenue generator. City they received 30%. So the city received $225,765, and we got $526,887. Of that, we paid Destination Madison $89,570. And overall, Visit Middleton's Q1 through 3 earnings for the year are $1,159,143. So we're surpassing our previous goal. Let's see here. I'm gonna go with this one. Nope, not that one. I'm looking at a lot of different things on my screen. All right, I'm going to share this guy with you. So this is the official breakdown of our I didn't put together Q3 because through September wasn't going to include any of our hotel tax money because it doesn't come until October and early November. So this is actually current. This is where we are sitting now, not including any of the expenses of the last basically 3 weeks because we just filed our credit card reports this week. And certain bills and that kind of thing. And the end of the year is when all the membership dues and everything are sitting. But as you can tell, revenue over expenditures were still above. And right now it says we've spent 68.5% of our overall budget. But I'm going to show you another breakdown that shows that I don't anticipate we're even going to spend the entire budget that we had anticipated, mostly because of grants. We're going to spend more on Destination Madison's partnership than we had originally budgeted for, because that's always, it's 17%. We just take a guess. But we aren't spending as much in our tourism and destination partnership grants as we had hoped, or sports grants. I think we only spent $7,500 in sports grants this year. They didn't come to us with hardly anything. So, and I've spoken to them a couple of times. So we're hoping 24 has a few more things coming.
Remind me, does Destination Madison come in and do a presentation?
Yes. So in January, they're going to give us their 2023 annual report. In general, it's been very general. And so I submitted to them and I had Jim look at it first, what I'm hoping to see as far as breakdowns of what we're getting for the money. Because it should be pretty close to dollar for dollar, right? If you're giving a tourism entity funds to do your marketing and development.
Right.
And so they originally reached out to me in like September and we knew we couldn't get them on October. And once they saw what I was asking for, they asked for something. I told them they could wait till January. We didn't need to squeeze them in right at the end of the holidays anyway. And they have their big awards thing tomorrow. So.
Right. Okay.
We will see them in the January meeting, which I'll try to keep light because that will take probably 30 or more minutes, plus questions. Let me find my next thing here. Here. There we go. This is the one I'm looking for. So this gives a far more detailed account of what we've actually spent according to Cassell. And then outstanding is what I think we probably still will be spending before the end of the year. And so the overall thing to pay attention to is this number. I might be off by like $1,000 or so, because like I said, none of the credit reports were in. But we're looking at a surplus instead of a deficit. Last year, when we set our budget in August, we didn't know how Q3 and 4 would perform. We were hoping, but we had nothing to base it on. And so we had an original estimated revenue of $1,260,000. And we had assumed, based on the budget that we had set, that we would be in the hole 102, because that includes the $50,000 grant to CXC. And then we updated our estimated revenue once we got those Q3 and 4 numbers in, and we estimated that we would have a surplus. And again, instead of taking that $50,000 out of our savings, this is still coming out of our budget. So we're looking very good. And right now, I mean, barring like if someone comes and asks for a really big grant or something, right now it looks like we're going to be over $280,000 surplus for next year, which is nice because we're starting to really pay back our coffers that we had to dig into throughout the pandemic. It's always nice to have a good, solid foundation for if there's another recession, or if somebody comes to us and says, we have this really big project or something and we want to be able to invest in that, like the CXC. But I always want to let you guys know that one of our mandates is to spend the money. And so if you find out that there is, a really big conference or event out there that maybe we should be at, or that we need to like try to figure out how to woo them here, we can dig into our savings if that ever happens. We have a contingency fund, which is basically there for if the roof ever falls off, which could happen. It's about 10 years old. But we have the money to go into for if there's something that we want to go after. A couple of years ago when we brought that hockey in, that was a $25,000 grant.
Mhm.
Now, we did not make that money back like dollar for dollar, but they were here for weeks. The hotels made a lot off of it. The town did because hardly any of those people had cars. So you saw them everywhere.
Mhm.
And so it was a very good piece of business for the entire city. Now, US Hockey, that was a good effort, but they did not fill the stadium or the hotel rooms, and that was $25,000. So we'll definitely want to do some research into events that come in, and maybe even call. I mean, MASC is supposed to do that, but I think on some of those things, when they're asking for the really big tickets, we do need to maybe call some of their where they were last
Mhm.
and ask. And look at it too, because again, we have an airport and they're slowly adding more direct flights. But that can hurt some of these major national events when it comes to it. So I just wanted to give you guys the good news. Whatever happens, we'll end the year in the black, not the red, which was one of our worries. And I'm trying to get a few projects in before the end of the year that I had budgeted for and just haven't had time for. Which is why I just took some guesses on like advertising, and then promotions. We haven't purchased a single thing yet. We kind of wait till the end of the year to see how much money we have left because we use promotion budgets for meeting planner gifts and things like that.
Mhm.
And then we take stock of, okay, how many koozies and how many whatevers do we have? And then we make the purchase. So we'll be doing that in the next couple of weeks.
Mhm.
So that, oh, I guess I could, just so you guys know where we ended on grants. Destination partnership grants, we have spent or promised, because there are a few grants that are outstanding because I'm waiting for their post-event reports. 77,326. Again, that's around there. Tourism marketing and development is at 24,220. We could have almost doubled that. And MASC, we only had 7,500 requested this year and we have over $32,000 left. So, and they know that we're not rolling this over. In years past, they would ask for money and then they would roll it over in their own account. And last year, for tax purposes, we took all that money back, evened everything out to zero. And now they do a request, we give them the grant funds. If that event does not happen, then I let them hold on to it for about 6 months, but then they have to give it back. Just so that if we're doing the exact same check back and forth. So, yeah, hopefully we bring in some more sports next year. That's all I have for a director's report. Anybody have questions?
I don't have any questions on the director's report. Great job. Can we go back to the hotels for a second? I just have one
Sure.
question. How are you guys doing with staffing at this point? Are you feeling better than a year ago? Same, worse?
Slightly better.
Yeah, I think it's better than a year ago. It's still tough, especially F&B. And even on the sales side, it's been tough to
Yeah.
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 keep sales
Yeah, it's
staff
not
members.
easy. I think that there's just an overall feeling in hospitality of disposability among staff. You know, everybody was kicked to the curb at the pandemic, like the drop of a hat. And, you know, they found industries that perhaps might be a little bit, I don't know, more safe feeling for them and their employment and their families. You know, I just think there's a lot of people that are soured by the way that was all happened and just won't do it again.
Yep.
You know?
Are the hotels in the area just kind of sharing the same population of people where you're pulling from each other, or are you finding people to come in
Yeah, no,
outside
I
of the
mean,
industry?
contract labor. So our housekeeping department's about 95% contract labor right now for a
Wow.
292 room hotel.
See, I haven't had
So-
much problem on the housekeeping side. We've been able to staff our own.
That's great.
We haven't had task force much in that. We've had task force at front desk, night audit, and F&B.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I have to lodge them because they're not local. We work with a
Right.
group out of California. But seems like a lot of Memphis people come up. It's where we
Yep.
get our task force. But yeah, I mean it's definitely better than a year ago. It's still tough in certain positions. And it surprises me the positions where it's hard to hire because wages and salaries in this market are not cheap. I mean,
No, no.
this market pays considerably more than the Dells does or any other market that I've been in for hourly and salary positions.
Yeah.
Jim, how does that 90% contracted employees compare to what you've had in the past? Like what did it used to be 50-50 or like?
Used to be probably 80-20 hotel staff to temp labor.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, and you're talking about a difference in labor cost of about 45%. So, I mean, it's really difficult to swallow. And, you know, but like, you know, to Todd's point too, you know, it's not just housekeeping. Obviously, we're having a problem with housekeeping. I'm glad to hear that you're not over there, but I mean, F&B, you know, when I used to run our banquet department here at that hotel, I had 87 employees that I scheduled at the highest point every week, 87. And right now we're sitting with about 15.
Yep.
So, you know, we've got major functions going on. You can bet that the majority of the staff back there is not hotel employees. Now, luckily, we found a couple of companies with contract labor, two of them that we work with in particular, that send us the same people over and over again. So they learn the hotel, they kind of become employees ish. But, you know, now the push is that, and this is going kind of down a rabbit hole, but once you use a contract employee for a year, then they technically become somewhat of an employee there, depending upon how many hours they have accrued. So now the push is to cut back on contract labor or to somehow try to flip out to new people so that the clock starts over again. And it's just, yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, without being candid, I don't want to get too crazy on this, but yeah, it's been rough to produce these kinds of numbers like we were talking about this year with, you know, the lack of knowledge, the lack of support. It's been tough, no doubt. We've had a rotation of about 2 or so, you know, talk about front desk. You know, we don't have a front office manager here right now at our property. And we've been through 3 in the last year and a half. We've got 2 people from task force there on any given day. And you know, as kind of front desk supervision, basically, these are people that have a ton of Marriott experience. So they understand the systems, they walk in the door and they're plug and play, but they're expensive. You know, these people are expensive. You know, so yeah, it's you know, and that's why you're seeing higher rates. You're seeing ADRs up. I mean, you know, hotels, you know, they can take a haircut, but not that kind of haircut, right? So it's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
To your question, there's been a period of time anyway that there was a lot of stealing back and forth.
Yeah.
And I think that's softened a little bit. And I've had a couple employees, even management positions, that come to me saying, "Hey, I got this offer." And, you know, if they're worth retaining, in most cases they are. It's like, you know, I don't want to get into a bidding war. You know, what's it going to take or not, you know?
Yeah.
Because otherwise that's what the employees were doing. It was just a bidding war back and forth. And it's like, and we're talking significant increases in salary.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Position that, you know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago was probably paying 45,000 is now probably 70.
Yeah. That was kind of part of what I was coming back around to was the rate increase too.
Yes.
Because there's a reason, there's good reason why the rates have, I mean, it sucks as the consumer trying to
Yes.
plan a vacation, but yeah, like I get it. I guess but what I didn't know is that you guys were contracting a lot of your help, and that's oof. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
There's a big
Yeah.
difference between staying in a hotel though that does and doesn't. Because
Oh, for sure.
my family lives 15 hours away and I've stayed in some doozies. And you're
Yeah.
willing to pay the extra $30-$40 for a nicer hotel, trust me, if it's available.
Yeah. Yeah, we're lucky. We get the same housekeepers from that company every week, so it's great. They've got their own cart set up. I mean, it's literally like they're employees, but $26 an hour for a housekeeper is a heck of a hard pill to swallow.
Well, and I really hope the market doesn't go that direction. I used to manage hotels in Birmingham, Alabama, where literally every hotel was contracting from hospitality employment or whatever, a contract group in town, and they got paid daily. So, I mean, it didn't matter if rooms were done or not. They were gone at 4:30 because they had to get to the office by 5 to collect their paycheck for the day.
Yep.
And it was almost impossible to hire anyone on an hourly basis because you're making them wait 2 weeks to get paid. Whereas they were
Yep.
getting paid every freaking day. And that was in
Yeah.
Birmingham like 5-6 years ago. And I just hope the other markets don't go that direction. I mean, it's
Yeah.
great for the housekeepers, but I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, it's really tough. But, you know, luckily for us, we've got a lot of the same management there. So, I mean, the core experience, you know, that we had pre-pandemic is still there. It's just the line levels that don't have it, you know.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that insight.
I think we're ready to move on to, what's it, miscellaneous?
Miscellaneous. No meeting next month.
Yeah, no
We got the
meeting.
month off.
So please come to our holiday party, 4
Yes,
o'clock.
Yes.
We gotta spend the money. Otherwise we don't get it.
Yeah.
We're going for research. 4 o'clock, beer stew, December 5th. We'll have it, well, Todd's new, so we will always have we have heavy hors d'oeuvres and like a little thank you gift for all of you for volunteering your time. Some commissions only have to meet a couple times a year and you guys meet every month, so thank you.
My poor beer.
And have more beer. So anyway, and last year it was actually a lot of fun. And we're picking out where we're trying to find we always try to use a Middleton business if we can, but we're trying to find who we're going to use this year. Last year was Philadelphia, and we love them so much, but we're trying to spread the love. So we'll pick out something good, and we'll make sure that there are options. Everybody nowadays has an option. We will find you one.
A lot of work.
And that's so for next meeting again. We'll have that one grant request at Destination Madison. I don't know what else is coming up between then and here and then. Usually we don't get a lot in December, so there might be a few more grant requests even as people are thinking. Good Neighbor Fest came and spoke with me, and they're thinking about applying for grants, a marketing grant and a development grant because they'd like to bring in some more well-known named talent and then market it beyond Madison, which is what we would like them to do. So we'll have that to consider. They're putting together their requests. So,
Good.
and would you like to call?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
I'll second.
You have to vote on that?
No.
Okay.
Meeting adjourned.
Go ahead.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. I gotta scoot.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
everybody.
In a week.
Everybody.
Bye, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.